2 years later, the war had become normal. That fact alone terrified Kenny. Not because war was surprising, because people had adapted to it. Entire generations were now growing up knowing nothing except conflict between House Reach and House Rain. Children born during the first skirmishes were now old enough to understand what the war actually was. Factories operated around the clock. Shipyards never slept. Recruitment academies expanded yearly. Entire economies had shifted toward wartime production. The galaxy had adjusted. Humanity always adjusted, for better or worse. The stars themselves seemed divided now. Across one section of the galaxy, conflict never stopped. Every day, every single day. A fleet engagement somewhere, a boarding action, a sabotage mission, a planetary raid, an assassination attempt, something. The war never truly rested. It simply changed shape depending on the day. The strange part was that despite all the fighting, Reach was winning. Slowly, painfully, expensively, but undeniably. House Rain territory continued shrinking. Their trade routes had collapsed years ago. Their recruitment numbers were falling. Entire military divisions had surrendered rather than continue fighting. Several worlds had defected to neutral factions. Others had simply declared independence. The once terrifying dynasty now looked wounded. Dangerously wounded. Which was exactly what worried Kenny. A wounded predator was unpredictable. A dying predator was desperate. And desperation often led to the worst decisions. That concern sat heavily in his mind as he stood overlooking Reach Prime from the balcony of the government citadel. The city below stretched to the horizon, massive, beautiful, alive. Ships crossed the sky, children played in parks, markets bustled, life continued. The sight usually comforted him. Today, it didn't, because something felt wrong. Behind him, a screen quietly displayed the current galactic calendar. 9 years, 8 months, 3 days, until the next Eclipse Games. The number appeared everywhere now. Advertisements, training programs, sports channels, military broadcasts. The next Eclipse had become the obsession of an entire generation. People trained for it, dreamed about it, talked about it, bet on future contestants. Entire industries had formed around preparation. Many young fighters considered participation the greatest achievement possible. Some even viewed it as a path toward becoming the next Kenny Reach. That particular irony amused him, mostly because every time somebody asked if he intended to participate again, he gave exactly the same answer. No. One afternoon, a reporter had boldly asked him during a public appearance, "Lord Reach, would you enter a second eclipse?" Kenny had stared at the woman for several seconds, then pointed toward a star map displaying active war zones. "I've already got one apocalypse happening." The quote became famous almost immediately. Merchandise appeared within days. Celine had bought him a shirt with the quote on it. Just to annoy him, he still hadn't forgiven her. A quiet knock interrupted his thoughts. "Come in." The door opened. Pines entered first, followed by Lyra, then Darius, finally Celine, the core of Reach, his family, his war council. The atmosphere immediately told Kenny something important. This wasn't a routine meeting. Nobody looked relaxed, not even Pines, which was always concerning. The group moved into the strategy chamber. Massive holographic projectors activated automatically. Stars filled the room. Trade routes, fleet positions, known enemy locations, the current state of the war. Darius spoke first. "They're dying." The statement surprised nobody. The older warrior pointed toward House Rain territory. Red markers glowed across multiple systems. Population decline, resource shortages, industrial collapse, military losses. Every category looked worse than the previous year. Their losses aren't sustainable anymore. They know it. And that's the problem. Kenny nodded. "Exactly." The old warrior continued. "If I were Lord Rain," another paused. I quote, "D be planning something desperate." The room became quiet, because everyone agreed. The evidence pointed toward it. House Rain wasn't behaving like a faction preparing for a long war anymore. They were behaving like a faction preparing for an ending. The question remained, what kind of ending? Lyra activated another display. Spy reports, reconnaissance findings, captured intelligence. She pointed towards several locations. Their remaining strength relies on technology. The room focused. She highlighted a single world, then another, then another. Most of their military production flowed through one planet, one world, one crown jewel, one industrial monster. The tech world, the beating mechanical heart of House Rain. Everything originated there. Ships, weapons, communications, artificial intelligence, advanced targeting systems, experimental military projects. All roads eventually led back to that world. Celine studied the display. If this falls, they lose their advantage. Lyra nodded. They don't just lose their advantage, they lose their identity. The statement hung heavily. House Rain built itself around superiority, around technological dominance, around overwhelming force. Without those tools, they became ordinary. Pines finally spoke, a rare serious moment. What if we don't destroy it? Everyone looked toward him. The man pointed at the world. What if we just switch it off? Silence. Then Kenny slowly smiled. Interesting? Very interesting. The room leaned in. Pines continued. If we blow it up, they become martyrs. If we capture it, we spend years fighting over it. But if we fry every piece of tech they own, the grin spread across his face, they get to keep their planet. The realization hit everyone simultaneously. Darius laughed first, then Celine, then Lyra. Even Kenny couldn't help smiling. The idea had merit, a lot of merit. Not conquest, not destruction. Crippling. The holographic map shifted. Engineers began running simulations. Scientists joined remotely. Military advisors entered the discussion. Within an hour, a terrifying possibility emerged. EMP saturation. Not one device, not one missile. A system-wide strike. A coordinated attack capable of overwhelming planetary shielding. An electromagnetic pulse powerful enough to destroy every advanced technological system on the planet. Computers, factories, weapons, defense networks, communications, everything. The engineers looked excited, far too excited. One scientist actually described it as beautiful. That worried Kenny considerably. The projections continued. The room watched. One simulation, then another, then another. Each one ended the same way. The tech world survived. The people survived. The infrastructure remained standing, but every advanced system died. Instantly. Decades of progress erased. Military production halted. Shipbuilding halted. Communications crippled. The entire world effectively thrown backward generations. Pines leaned back. Stone Age. The phrase lingered. Stone Age. Not literally, but close enough. The room became quiet, because they all understood what this meant. Phase 2. Not another battle, not another invasion. A strategic execution. Remove the brain, then remove the body. Kenny stared at the glowing world hovering above the table. The tech world. The heart of House Rain. The future target. The future battlefield. Eventually he spoke. We do it. Nobody looked surprised. The decision felt inevitable. The room immediately shifted into planning mode. Fleet requirements, power calculations, timing, insertion teams, contingencies, everything. Hours passed. The stars outside slowly changed. Night fell over Reach Prime. Yet the council continued working. The war had entered its final stages. Everyone could feel it. House Rain was cornered. House Reach was preparing its killing blow. And somewhere far away, Lord Rain was undoubtedly planning something desperate, something dangerous, something worthy of a dying dynasty.